Greetings, Patrick here. Eight questions with. Welcome to the show. So this one's going to be done on the fly, I believe. I got a pretty late notice that our guest, who actually probably will probably make a cameo appearance today, Mitch Laing, he is really sick. He's got the flu. Everybody seems to have the flu. We do have a alternate guest that it's going to be coming through. I mean, we just got this. We just heard all this. Um, so it was either push it back or try to go forward. And when Mitch mentioned that we could talk to one of the co-stars of the film, I thought we'd go ahead and do that. I know the young lady is new as far as acting goes. So we'll just go ahead and just talk to her about her career, and we'll reschedule the show with Mitch and for a little bit later on. So this might, I'm not sure exactly how long we're going to go with this one. And like I said, it literally is last possible second. But it seems like everybody has the flu. Um, hey Tom, how are you? Hopefully you're doing well. And there's Anthony there. How are you, buddy? You're going to talk to another publisher. All right. So now Anthony is talking to multi publishers. Yeah, you know what? This one's going to be a little different. I mean, it's like I didn't want to pull the plug on it since I just got back. And I don't ever want to make anybody come on here when they're sick. That's not right. Um, so it's much easier to just reschedule. Um, and so that's probably what we'll do. But as far as with Mitch goes, but we're going to talk to Patricia, who plays one of the mermaids in the movie Sea of Madness. She is featured as one of the mermaids. So we thought we'd just go ahead and just talk to her for a little bit tonight. Um, and then we'll reschedule. We'll try to reschedule Mitch. We'll see how he's feeling, and then we'll go ahead and go from there. All right. See. Oh wow! James is now from the Friendly Men. Says he is now currently writing his memoirs, and he's on 2002. Do you have a publisher yet, James? I mean, I see Anthony is talking to some publishers. You might hook up with him, see about getting a couple from him. Uh, so now don't rush it. Don't rush your memoirs. I mean, take your time. If it takes you a year to write about 2002, I highly recommend you do that. Um, so all the snow that they were talking about, it did not snow last night or yesterday when it was supposed to, but it did snow overnight, and so we did get popped with our first snowstorm of the year, and it's supposed to be snowing from here all the way through till the until Monday morning. So we are in for a little bit of it. Oh man, I'm so yeah, it's cold in here. Like, it is cold. Um, but yeah, I went out there and I'll go out there and shovel some snow a little bit and keep the sidewalks clear and um, yeah, it's crazy. It happens all the time here in Michigan though. We don't have a real winter in Michigan in terms of snow anymore in January. We really don't. Not here, not where I'm at. It always happens in January. I mean February. February is basically like for 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. It's definitely our snow time. All right. Hey, it's Ant. Ant is here. Ant review things. I did catch your show last night. Your interview last night. Good to see the Friendly Men back up and running. They talked to a young man, the perfect citizen. I had just barely even heard of that when someone sent me a link saying how he had mentioned my show. He had mentioned my show, and then I went over there and watched some of his channel and good stuff, interesting stuff. Then I went ahead and rolled over and caught your interview yesterday with him with the full crew. That was really cool too, by the way. Seeing you guys all together again, Jonas, Ant Review Things, and James, all combining to do a live interview yesterday, and it was interesting. It was interesting. Let's see, they did a great. Yeah, you know what, I saw that Anthony. You know what it is? It's Anthony's becoming famous, is what it is. Anthony's got a book coming out. He's done movies. Now he's starting to become YouTube famous. I mean, he's even been on the show twice. So he could be. Um, I like the guy who you guys talked to yesterday. I will say this. I was a little edgy about the Perfect Citizen and the fact that I didn't want him to come across as being cruel. I did not want him to look at these folks and make fun of them. That would have not won him any friends at all. Um, but he seems to really care about the people he's talking about. Um, he seems to be liking the people that he's talking about. It's just that, hey, things, it happens, and it comes across more as a reactionary, which is actually, I mean, if I saw somebody doing some of the shenanigans that some of the people that he knows, I think I would laugh into it too. Yeah, yeah, you know what? I'm not sure exactly how I mean, a reporter goes. I mean, it is autism, by the way. It's just a different levels of on the spectrum. Some are more severely autistic than others, but they're definitely not made to be fun of. That's what I was watching out for. It's like, if this guy's just going to sit there and poke fun at him, then yeah, I'm not interested in that. But he does seem to care. He does really seem to care, and he didn't have it. He wasn't talking trash to anybody. He was. You're right. He almost seemed like very much like a reporter. Like he was very curious. And so I'm going to go back and you know what? Actually, tell you the truth, he sort of reminded me of you, James. He really does. He reminded me of you. I mean, what's his name? I don't even know what his first name is. I got this. Someone actually made this for me. Someone made this. Someone made this hat. My friend Karen made this for me several years ago. See, I don't like YouTube. Yeah, you know what? It's been a lot. The doorbell has rang. That means Louisiana is calling. So let's go get our guest. Let's see. Okay. Oh, we got a mermaid.
Hi.
Greetings, greetings. You must be Patricia.
I am. I go by Red.
Okay, nice meeting you, Red. It's
You as
funny.
well?
Me and Mitch were sitting here and we were talking about the show,
Mm-hmm.
and he threw out a line saying, like I told Mitch, it says, if you can bring anybody you want to the show, and he says, yeah, I'll see if I can get a mermaid. I said, yeah, bring a mermaid, and that seemed to be the battle cry for this interview, is bring a mermaid.
I'm here.
So we definitely know that Mitch is pretty sick, from what I understand from him today. He's got the flu. Yeah. So I last minute, no problem. When he said that you were going to come on and talk to us, I said, why the hell not?
Right.
Yeah. Because you got to learn how to do press too, right?
I do. I'm telling you now, I am horrible at interviews, but ask me whatever you want, and you got a question, I have an answer.
Is Mitch feeling all right? I mean, is he okay?
He's definitely fluish. He's definitely fluish.
Okay.
He don't feel great. For him to not want to be here, he's got to be feeling pretty bad. I talked to him earlier, and he didn't sound great.
No, no. Yeah, it's been going through. I've known probably about 10 to 15 people within my circle that have had the flu. I mean, it's
Right,
like, wow, it's really rampaging.
right.
Um, See, yes, we have a mermaid, Casey, from the movie Sea of Madness, and that has been released, and it has a really talented cast to it. Um, I was watching the movie, and it
Mhm.
does. I was expecting more straight ahead horror film, but it does come across more as a like a horror comedy.
Yes.
Mitch is absolutely hilarious. Uh, he looks like he has so much fun making the film.
Oh, he
Um,
does. And the whole crew does. Everybody has a blast.
now, now, tell us a little bit about yourself. I hear your accent. Are you a Louisiana-based actress?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Louisiana. Now, this is my professional voice. So, like me in person in a friendship circle, I have more of an accent than I do now. Um, but yes, I'm originally from Louisiana. I'm from West Monroe. I've lived all over North Louisiana mostly though. Um, I lived in Tallulah most of my life, which is a very small town.
Uh-huh.
Um, I am an entertainer. I'm a dancer. I work in Tallulah. And I say a lot. If you know,
Are you a type of dancer that Jessa is?
yes, I am.
Okay, okay, okay. I when you said that, I'm like, well, I know Jessa's a dancer too. Um,
Yes, I
okay,
don't care who knows. I just don't know
we'll,
what type
we'll
of
touch we'll touch
do what.
upon that a little bit because you know what? It's really interesting.
Yes.
Because I'll be honest with you, it's really interesting because there's two things that seems to be lacking in today's in two genre movies.
Mhm.
One, there seems to be a lack of really good screen queens
Yes.
as far as independent films go. There seems to be a
Yeah.
real lack of them. I mean, you can name the ones on, if I started people name your screen queens, I could tell you probably about between 60 to 70 people would already would be throwing out names from people we already know.
Right. Right.
But there's not that many more. There's not that many people like with Morgan Lamont, Malam, or Jessa Flux, or
Mhm.
yourself that have come from that kind of the dancing background. And
Yes.
when we're talking about dancing background, we're talking about adult dancers. It
Mhm.
seems like it seems like the new wave of screen queens that we are getting is coming from the dancing background.
Well,
I'm all about it.
we run into a lot of people nowadays. Like how I met Mitch was through a customer that became a friend of mine, and he came to me one day and Mitch was doing a movie, and he was like, hey, I've got a friend, the guy that is a friend of mine, I've got a friend that is looking for someone to play this part, would you be willing to come and play this part for him? And I was like, yeah, I don't care, we're real outgoing and we love to have fun. I'm a sober entertainer, so I don't care what it is. I don't have to have anything to nudge me to go do it. I want to do everything I can do. I want to have fun. I want the people around me to have fun. I want to create entertainment for everyone that I can in any aspect that I can within reason. Don't get me
Sure.
wrong. Um, but movie making falls into that category because even without me being there in person, I am creating some type of enjoyment for someone else. I love doing stuff like that, and I know other entertainers that are the same way. So I ran into him from a friend that I met doing that. So we run into a lot of different people, and I know there are more people from the movie background that are starting to pick up other people from those backgrounds because they're more
Okay.
open to going to those places and doing that because the world is not as I wouldn't necessarily say sheltered as it used to be, but everybody is more open with the things that they're going to do. They don't care as much about how people see them. They go and do something. We're all adults. We're all grown. It doesn't matter if I've been to that scene or not.
Well, it just seems to be, it just seems that like there's more and more, and we're finding out too that some of the actors, some of like like yourself and like Jessa and Morgan and others, they have gotten to the place now where it's almost they're at a crossroads. Like they've gotten enough success to
Mm-hmm.
move to move like it's almost because I've seen both of them talk about it and other actresses too. It's like we've gotten to the point where I've gone as far as I can go, balancing both working as an adult dancer and as an actress.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like more and more they're tipping the boat to going acting wise.
Yes.
Jessa is a bona fide personality. I mean, people
Yes.
know who she is as far as if as far as new screen queens.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, as far as that goes, they know a lot of the screen queens are that's where they're coming from. They're coming from the background. Jessa is
Right.
known. I think Jessa's more known before she started as a dancer, but I
Yes.
think now it's more known that she's an actress. And
Yes.
I mean, I think it's really cool.
Right. I had
Uh,
no idea she was a dancer until after the Sea of Madness, and someone mentioned it to me, and I was like, "What? I didn't know that." And it excited me. It made me happy to see someone else from that background, transform from one thing up in the entertainment business into something else, or be in that transformation from one thing to another and doing what they love to do in
yeah,
one form or another.
yeah. Not everybody. That's the thing. A lot of the actresses are coming back from that background like that because not everybody has the ways and the means to go through acting school or
Right.
maybe know friends who've done films.
Right.
It's hard. It's hard because there's a ton of people that want to do it, and that's the
Yes.
thing. So it's like there's a ton of people that want to do these roles. But then there's only a certain kind that can get away with doing it. Like
Right.
I'm sure even though while you were dancing, when it came down to do a scene like that, and maybe it's your first nude scene, you're not there's no one gonna sit here and tell me that when they did their first nude scene that they were okay with it. They weren't nervous. Oh, it's just like being on stage. No one's gonna say that and be truthful because they're all
I
nervous.
could. I could.
Everybody has those nerves.
I mean,
Everybody has,
most most
the
most people do. I will agree to an extent. I can't agree and say that I wouldn't believe anyone. Um, because I do what I do. I came into dancing from a situation. I got put in a situation where I had to do what I had to do.
yeah.
And I had a friend of mine that was already involved in dancing, and she was like, "Hey, this is your sign. Come do this." And I was like, "Okay." So I went out and did it, and I never had those nerves. I never had a problem with it. I also didn't start dancing until I was in my late 20s. But I never had the nerves the first time I did anything fully undone. I never had a problem with it. But I also have the mentality of I don't care as far as like someone seeing me and how I look. Because at the end of the day, I'm the only me. And how I feel about something matters. I don't care how anybody else feels about me because I love the people that love me, but the people that don't love me, it's not going to hurt me because at the end of the day, I have to go home to me. They don't. So
Now
I never got nervous about anything.
for the first time, we have our chat is flying today. Thank you guys all for this. Let's see. Tom Taker says he created a fantastic mermaid movie with Dennis Hopper. I cannot remember which one that would have been. I would have to look at that one. So of course, there's always Splash from Tom Hanks. Oh, talk about mermaids. Bring the mermaid. Uh, James Hill. James Hill is here. He said, "Red." Um, It's and then Open Heart Productions in the house. I take
Hey
it that
guys.
I take it that James is running Open Heart Productions. Um, so let's get back to how you got involved. I mean, had you ever, as you were growing up, before you got in your situation, had acting ever come across your mind at all? I mean, how did you, when you were younger, what did you see yourself doing when you became an adult?
Well,
What goals did
I
you have?
had those traditional little girl dreams. I mean, I didn't ever see myself as being an adult entertainer. I did not. But
Yeah.
I did have the traditional little girl dreams. I'm like, I want to be a model. I want to be a singer. I want to be an actress. I want to be all the above in the entertainment industry. I can't say I ever had like, oh well, the traditional little girl, I want to be a princess and all that. No, I wanted to be a singer, an actress, and a model. I wanted to be all three.
Hmm.
And
Sure.
I never let it go. I mean, and I still right now, if somebody called me to come do something, okay, what do I need to do? I'm coming. I'm gonna figure it out because I love doing it. Now I'm not gonna say I have the prettiest voice in the world, but I mean, if somebody needs a backup singer, I got you.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
but I mean, it's like I said, it's as far as all that goes. In my childhood, I always wanted to do it, and I always put my mind in a place of I'm gonna do it one day.
Now,
Even now, I'm like, I don't care where I'm at right now. We're gonna go somewhere big. We're gonna be known. We're gonna be seen. We're gonna bring joy to all these people. We're gonna bring the horror, the comedy, the romance, whatever it is that they want. We're gonna bring it to them. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it big. And I'm happy to be a part of it because my little girl dreams are coming true.
sure. Now you got 2 credits underneath your belt. That's fine. That's fine. It means you're moving forward. But when you were growing up beforehand, I mean, you mentioned your town that you grew up in. Was this a big town? Was this near Baton Rouge or New Orleans?
Okay.
How big of a town were you living in when you were going like through high school, early college years?
So high school years, I was in Tallulah. Tallulah is a very small town. Like it's very small. I'm originally from West Monroe. But even West Monroe, it's a city, but it's not huge. There's no like acting courses over here or anything like that. Like there's no schools or anything like that that are for this industry. So everything that we have to learn is like you either learn it on your own from the television or the movies or getting together with friends. When I was in high school, we didn't have stuff like I went to high school in Tallulah. We didn't even have stuff like drama club or theater. We didn't have anything like that at all. Like there was no arts department basically. We had basic stuff. We had home ec. We had computer class. We we
Home
had
ed.
the basics. That was
Home ed,
it.
home ed. Ain't that the shit? Yeah, I mean home ed. Like that's what they yeah. Oh my god. What happens to the
Luckily,
arts?
I didn't need home ec. I could do that.
How come the arts always get how come when it comes down to school budgets, there's always enough money to freaking build a football stadium, but
Right.
there's no money for the arts, no money for the music or what have you.
Right.
But we could teach your girls that the only thing they can have look forward to is to get knocked up and raise 3 or 4 kids. So we'll teach them home ec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's really sad. And what's worse is at that point in time, that's what Tallulah was. They had a band. They had home ec. And like I said, they had the regular electives, computer class and all that. They didn't have drama, they didn't have theater, they didn't have all this other stuff. But Tallulah like I said, at that point in time was that type of town. The girls and the young ladies were having children and that's what they did. Now I've seen a lot of turnaround in since I've been out of school. I've seen which I'm not gonna lie, I dropped out, but it was because I came from West Monroe, and when I was in school, Tallulah was way behind. I knew the things that they were teaching me already. I was not challenged, and when I wasn't challenged in school, I wouldn't do anything. If I knew
Yeah.
how to do it, I'm not going to continue to do it. For what, you know? Um,
Can I
but
ask you a
anyway,
question? Can I ask
so
you a question? That's
yes.
really interesting you say that. What in your opinion, Patricia, is that a statewide is that a cultural problem or a stateside problem? Do you think do you think other schools in around you even today? I mean, if, you know, do you think that's part of the problem is that the curriculums are so dumbed down that the kids are not challenged enough to
Well,
apply themselves forward?
I don't necessarily think it's just that. I think it's become that because a lot of the stuff starts at home, and I'm not going to bash anyone for their parenting styles. Good parents are good parents and bad parents are bad parents. It is what it is. A parent parents the way they do. Um, but it starts at home, and it's not necessarily a parent's fault all the time because some children are problematic. But that goes down to it is our job as parents. 'Cause I have a son. I have a 13-year-old. It's our job as parents to get our children the help they need so that they can excel in school.
How,
Well, the schools have gotten to the point in areas like that where the teachers don't care anymore. They
yeah,
don't care. They give something to the kids and say, do it.
yeah.
They give something to the kids and expect them to know how to do it or go learn on their own. And in places like that, a lot of people don't know how to go learn on their own. And then they have new curriculum now where parents like me are looking at this going, wait, what? This is not how we did it. And y'all have to break it down. How? I took
It's
25 plus
almost like
25. I added 5 and 5 and 2 and 2. I didn't have to break it down and where'd the 10 come from and the 5 come from and the 2 come from. What? It's adding. Like,
it's,
I didn't have to do
it's
that.
it's almost like the parents need to go to refresh the course themselves, right? Like
Yes.
you have to go back to class.
Yes.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
maybe when
I had a third grader try to teach me math. I'm like, when my son was in third grade, he's like, no, mama, this is how you do it. And I'm like, that's more complicated. Why are you having to do this?
that's a
But
good, but that's a good thing though. I mean, right?
yeah,
That's I mean, it's
it
there. I
shows
mean,
that he knows or is learning, what they're doing. But at the same time, like I said, some of these parents have problematic children. It's not necessarily their fault because it boils down. It starts at home, but
mm,
home starts as a community.
yeah,
Because my son, in my experience with my child, I've got godchildren, I've got my child. I grew up around, I mean, my son has grown up around other children, and a lot more children are coming up in an era where they're being able to be diagnosed with what is going on with them. And I know a lot of people look at it as, oh, well, ADHD didn't exist back then. No, we didn't know how to diagnose it back then. Now we do,
always there.
and we know how to find these children help and what helps them because
Yeah,
every child responds differently, every adult responds differently. But as a community, the communities are not coming together to help to be able to give resources to the parents so that the parents can start at home with helping their children so that when they get to school, they care in school, they act in school, they are active in school, and they are, now I'm not going to say necessarily obedient in school, but in good behavior in school. That way they can learn. These kids can't learn because they either need medication and don't have access to it because the doctors don't care. That's a community thing. Or they're at home and they're running the neighborhoods with all the other kids, and this one's mama cares. This one mama is like, when we grew up and the street lights are on, you better have your butt at the house. You're drinking at the water hose. You're outside playing, climbing trees, doing whatever. But this one's parents don't care what they do, and their child is an angel, and he's over here doing things he has no business doing and getting in trouble. So the good child follows the bad child, and that bad child is turning all these good kids into them. And the good child's parents has got to a point where they can't handle their own child. They give up too.
Yeah.
That's a community thing. The community is not giving resources to the parents for their children or the children in small areas, because we don't even have things like safe places for kids to go play and be children. These kids are
Right.
going to places
Yeah.
where
You
young
can't say
adults
that.
and teenagers are hanging out doing crazy stuff, and so they're
You
doing
can't
it
even
too.
say that about schools now. I mean, it used to be schools where that was the place to go. You got to go to class, and you got a couple of recess periods, and you got to play at
Yes.
lunch. But you're right. There's yeah. Um, how is if you don't mind me asking, how is your son doing? Is he adjusting to all the new curriculum? Or do you
Oh
guys
yeah.
study?
I removed him from the Tallulah school system. Madison Parish is just not a good place for my child. As far as school goes. He suffered a lot of bullying, and you know how kids are. Kids are going to do stuff when the teacher's not looking.
Sure.
They're going to do
Definitely.
stuff real quietly so that they don't get in trouble. So my son was bullied a lot in Madison Parish, and nothing was ever done. And I threw a fit about it a time or two, and again, nothing was done. So finally, I got to a point where I was able to get my son away from there. And now he's in the Jackson Parish school system. He went from being in Madison Parish making F's and D's and a C here and there to he's had A honor roll since being in Jackson Parish school system, because the school system introduced me to a doctor and a community that's willing to help. They got me, the community came together and was like, hey, this is a good doctor. My son has ADHD. This is a good doctor. He's great for kids. I go over there, then, and I get him taken care of. This doctor does what he's supposed to do. That's a community thing. He hadn't given up on this child and just giving him something and saying, take this and go home. No, he wants to know if it's working or not. He wants to know how my child's doing on it and stuff. That's a community thing. It matters. My son's school takes the time out with him to sit with him and say, hey, do you need help with this? Do you need help with that? What do you need help with? Let's help you do this. The other students, that is a whole different planet over there with those children. Those children over there, I haven't seen kids like that. Even in me growing up, these children jump to help my son. These children jump to help this child. I don't know these parents, but I love all of them because they are raising their children. They're not just putting them out there, and when they do something wrong, saying, oh, my child's an angel. They're not going to do that. No, they hold their children accountable for their actions. So their actions are positive. My son is completely turned around being in the system that he's in now. And I'm happy. And
And
I'll do
that's
everything
gotta
I
really
can to
be.
keep him there.
Let's see. Thanks, Richard. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Feel free to connect with each other as well. Here on the channel. If you're new to the channel, come on by. Sub here and drop comments and get to know good people. We do this 3 times a week: Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So let's get back. I mean, that's got to be. I mean, that's got to. I mean, when you wake up every morning, that's got to be such a lighten of a load on your shoulders when you wake up, knowing full well that your son, educationally wise, is being taken care of. He's being nurtured by friends, and he's getting a good moral. He's learning how to build a good moral center. Like, I'm going to help other people, like people help me. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So so now you started. You mentioned you had a situation. We don't need to talk about that other than it's a situation, but it led you to but while you were in your 20s,
Mhm.
did it seem like was there any time at all for you to chase any of your dreams, or did you feel like when your 20s were happening that it was just you had hit a ceiling, or was it, did you still have hope to become an actress and or a singer? How did you keep
I,
how did you keep your dreams alive during your 20s?
well, I had hope. I didn't ever let go of the hope. I always held on to my dream because I feel like you're never too old to do anything. So I was like, I don't care if I'm 98 years old and I'm the old grandma sitting in the back on the chair telling her grandchild, leave that man alone in some comedy. I'm going to do it someday. I'm going to do something someday. I never let it go. You're never too old to do whatever it is you want to do. I mean, there was a woman who was an elderly woman that graduated from college finally, after raising all her children and her grandchildren and her great grandchildren, and you would think that this 70-something-year-old woman couldn't do this, and she did it. You're never too old to do something you want to do. So I never let go of me wanting and feeling like one day I'm going to have that opportunity to do these things, and I still hold on to that. Because I feel like, me personally, I couldn't ever go too far. I could never go too far. And I say that because I want to be high up. I want to be known. I want somebody to look at me in my picture and be like, or me in a movie, or me on or whatever, and be like, I've seen her. I recognize her. She's good at this. She's good at that. And I also want to be known because whatever I do, I want to be able to put back in communities. I want to be able to help people. I don't want to just have I want to go far and have a lot of money, but I want to be able to use that money for good things. Because there's too many people with a lot of money that play with so much of it that I'm like, okay, yeah, they're helping some people, but they could be doing so much more, but they're living life in luxury, which that's fine. That's what they want to do. That's their privilege. They can do that. I want to live comfortable. But if I'm making millions, billions, or whatever, I want to be able to put back into these systems and in these communities that want the resources and want to use them properly, but don't have them available. I want to start scholarships. I want to start I want to start charities, or donate to charities. And I hate to say this, I don't like donating money to charities. I don't. I like to go, give me a list of what you need. I go get what you need and send it to you or give it to you.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying like these people don't need money too, because there's employees involved and everybody needs to get paid. But at the same, and bills need to get paid. But at the same time, there's enough other people in this world that are doing that. I want to bring these supplies, because there's not enough of that being put out.
I totally agree with everything he said there. Totally agree. I without getting into the situation part, but I said that you went and that's where you started dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, had you ever danced before? Had you ever been like ballroom dancing? Where did you learn how to dance before you
on
became?
The street. On the street.
So you're like sort of like a break dancer.
No.
No break dancing. No ray gun.
No. I started dancing. I'm not even gonna lie.
Popping,
oh my Lord.
No popping and locking. No.
Popping and locking. It's definitely been popping and locking. So I grew up in Tallulah. I did, and Tallulah is a there are areas where the community is actually pretty good, or it was when I was growing up, and then there's other areas that's not so much. With that's any town you go to.
Sure.
And I grew up around several families, one large family in particular that always had me out there like, oh, let's go have a good time. They would gather all the kids together, the aunts and uncles would get together, the moms and dads would get together, and everybody be out there having a good time. We'd have the radio blasting, and we'd either be at one's house or the other, and we'd be out there dancing and acting a fool. And they'd be like, do this, and I'd be like, do that, and they'd be all, now don't get me wrong. When I was growing up, I was made fun of a lot, but I didn't care. So I grew up dancing from a child. And then when I got to junior high, a girl and I would be in the back of the school almost every day. Not every day, but most days. And we'd both be back there dancing, acting the fool. So I grew up dancing, and growing up in that community, dancing is not ballroom. It's not. It's not what you're gonna see. It's not gonna be square dancing. It's not gonna be head banging, and I didn't grow up with that. I grew up with pop, lock, and drop it. I mean, I grew up with twerking and shaking it and winding, and I grew up with stuff like that. And so, going into dancing, I grew up doing it. So when I started doing it, I just put that to use,
Basically, the only difference between, say, like a street dancer was, like you hear about hip hop crews, and they go around and they tour around and they dance. They're you be a part of a crew, and you got 10 or 11 people that you can dance. I guess the only difference between that and dancing for the public, dancing and for adults, is what, a few clothes. I mean, because by the time you started dancing, I mean, I'm sure the first couple of times it was like, yeah, I'm sure. But I guess one,
involvement.
yeah, I guess, but I know one of the secrets from a friend of mine. She said that when she first started, which the first thing that she did was she looked, at first she looked at a spot in the wall that was high. She never
Uh-huh.
saw any. She never saw anything down below, and that when she danced, she kept her eyes on the wall. And
Oh,
and
that way she could kind of like not see everybody and kind of envision. Not
right,
me. I'm very a look at me type person. I was like, I'm right here. Come bring me money. I'm right here. I was very much look at me. I was very much so look at me. But again, I grew up dancing with everybody around me and surrounding me, not being ashamed to get out there and do it. So me doing it as an adult, it didn't feel any different to me. I was excited to do it, if anything. Like I was like, "Yay! I'm finally here. Let me do it." It was something that when it got presented to me at that point in time, I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna come out there and do it." And I got there and was like, "I'm doing it. Yes, I'm doing it." After being
now,
asked for almost 10 years to come out there.
at that time that you started dancing, I mean, I'm sure, there are a very few people that actually want to do that sort of entertaining. They'll sit there and tell you that I wanted to get into the adult business from the very beginning. As soon as I was 18, I was there.
Yeah.
What about you? What about you? Or what had you done, like, work wise, or did you think about that at all because it's a big step. It's a different
Right.
step. Um,
It's
so
definitely a different industry.
yeah.
Um, to be completely honest with you, I had been thinking about it since before I had my child. I was in my early 20s and I thought about it a lot. And I had said several times that I was going to do it. And then a couple of times I had the opportunity, but I wasn't comfortable with it because of my child and his age. I was more like, I want to stay home and take care of my kid type thing. Um, at one point in time in my 20s, I was like, I was really ready to give it all up and be a porn star, and I didn't do that. Um,
Mm.
and I
That's
kind
a
of
whole
gave that
different
up.
animal.
Like,
Yeah. That's a,
do
that's a
what?
whole that's a whole. I know it may seem people may see that doing porn and adult dancing are one and the same, but it isn't. It's a whole different animal.
It's a whole different world. It's a completely different world. Like I met someone that was in that world for a while, and they were like, "No, no, you don't want to do it." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Um, and I wasn't big on watching it either, so like I really didn't have a lot of experience on seeing some of the things that they did.
Mhm.
Because what I had seen was pretty mild. Like that's that industry is for a certain type of excitement, and that doesn't excite me in that way. Um, I it's more comical to me, but which is weird because a lot of people think I'm weird for that. But I'm like, if you put it on, I'll watch it. But just know I'm finna laugh. I'm finna make fun. I'm fixing to talk shit. Excuse me. I'm finna talk noise. Um, But anyway, so I had the thought cross my mind back in my 20s, and like I said, as someone was explaining it to me, I was like, yeah, no, that might not be for me. But I never let go of being an adult entertainer while I was in my 20s, because it seemed to me something that would fit me and my personality. It didn't seem like it would be something that would be hard for me to do or handle mentally.
Right.
It seemed like something that I would enjoy. And when I finally broke down and did it, because I'm an anxiety ridden person, don't be wrong. I when it comes to new stuff, I'm like, I'm scared to do it because I don't know anything about it, not because I'm scared to do what it is.
You don't want to. You don't want to. It's not that you don't know how to do it. You just don't want to fail doing it.
Yeah, I don't want the embarrassment of being like, oh yeah, she ain't no good. Yeah, I don't want to fail at it.
Right.
You're completely right. So when I finally broke down and did it, the relief I had, I was like, I was so excited, and it was like a weight lifted off my shoulder, and I'm like, I can do this. It's fun. And the people you meet, oh my God, I have met some wonderful people. You've got your ups and downs in the industry, but I
Hmm.
have met some wonderful people, not just customers. I've ran into people that have become friends. I've ran into girls that are wonderful. They're sweethearts. They're loving. You got your ups and downs with that too, you know. But
Right.
I have run into a lot of people, a lot of different people from different backgrounds and different scenes, and I can't say there's one. I don't think there's a single encounter, bad or good, that I regret, because I've taken something from every encounter, and
Right.
I love it.
Um. So now here you are. You're now you're dancing. You
Mhm,
got one. You got one goal down. Or actually two. Your son in a good school, a good setting. Now you're
yeah,
out of your situation. Now you're making your own money.
mhm,
You don't have to worry about giving it to anybody. It's all
right,
yours. Um,
right,
now you look to now you go like, you know what? Maybe I got a little bit of a late start in some of my goals, my creative goals, but now I'm on my way. So
yes.
while you were dancing, who was the first time that you thought about, because a girl, and yes, it's been like 40 years since I've been inside of a place like this, but I still know the steps. As far as
Mhm,
a dancer goes, a lot of dancers, they will go ahead and they'll sit there and say a song is a stage. There's a beginning, the end, and a beginning, a middle, and the end.
mhm,
When when you're dancing, you're putting together a story yourself about what the song means to you. You're not just out there just flailing your arms and your legs to a beat. You're out there, a good dancer will, that's how they get you, is that they're telling their story with their body. Now,
yes.
when did you feel comfortable? When did you realize that's what you needed to do as a dancer? And did that spur you? Did anybody come up to you and say, Red, you got some skills on the stage. Have you thought about a different stage? Have you thought about, I know we talked before and you mentioned about, doing some acting. Have you given that any more thought? Where was the first time that someone approached you about encouraging you to take the next step?
Encouraging me to take the next step. Well, like I said before, I never lost the thought of it. I never lost the drive to find, or the hope to run into someone like that. But the first time I was given the opportunity was when that friend of mine came at me and said that his friend, which was Mitch, had a part that was available and asked would I be willing to take it. I mean, like I said, I haven't ever lost that hope that I would have an opportunity. And I'm more than appreciative. I'm more than appreciative. I'm more than happy that the opportunity that was presented to me was the one that was given to me, because the family that Open Heart Productions is one that I swear I'm so proud and so happy to be a part of, because I love all them and they all love me. We all get along. We're all fun. We're all about each other, and we treat each other like family, not just business. Business is business. Don't get me wrong. When it's time to do business, it's time to do business. But they all care about me and I care about them, and we all take everything with each other into consideration. And I'm more than sure that most of the larger companies are not like that. I mean, I've heard stories about how sets are and how certain actors and actresses are treated and done and this, that, and the other. And I see that. Don't get me wrong. Like, I see that. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I don't care how famous somebody is. They're still a human being. And this person and this person deserve the same respect and care that this person does. Because
Exactly.
at the end of the day, we're all human. I don't care where you are socially. I don't care where you are financially. The respect, love, and care that's given to me is reflected. So if you give me 0 to none, I'm gonna give you 0 to none. If you give me all that you've got, I'm gonna give you all that I've got and then some, because that's what's deserved. I don't care. I love big actors and actresses. I do. But if let's say Tom Cruise walked up to me. Tom Cruise walked up to me, bumped into me, and didn't say excuse me. He's a human being. I'm gonna look at him and say, excuse you.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's got a problem with it, he can keep his problem with it because it doesn't bother me. At the end of the day, if you didn't respect me, I'm not going to respect you.
Yeah, that's
But
a really good thing about.
I know he wouldn't just do that, or I feel like he wouldn't just do that, but that's just an example. Because if I walk into somebody, I wouldn't care if I wouldn't care if I was as big as Beyonce. If I bump into somebody, I'm going to turn around and say, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Sure.
Why? Because I'm a human being and I respect my fellow human being next to me.
Sure. Agreed. And that's one good thing about working at independent films, right? I mean, you've worked on 2 so far, and
Yes.
I'm sure that and that's one good thing about very positive thing about working on small films. Like I already know Mitch runs a tight set. There's just
Yes.
no doubt. I already know that. Just talking
Yes.
to him, and I know that he's not going to put up with any shenanigans. He's very hardworking. He knows
He is.
talent. He knows talent. The very first time we met him, he brought along. We got to talk to his makeup person, Bree Hill, and
Mm-hmm.
we saw Bree. We're interviewing her, and
Mm-hmm.
she was doing this gimmick on her hand, some makeup on her hand. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my god, it was just so talented. It was like so cool to watch. And
Yes.
her and I were just talking just like this. Mitch knows talent.
Yes.
A lot of indie, not a lot, not everybody, unfortunately, but then again, that's life, right?
Right.
There are always going to be a few out there that talk way more than what they deliver.
Right.
A lot of them come out there and say, "Yeah, like to me, it's like just because someone walks up to me and says, I've done 10 movies, doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to go ahead and just believe what they say.
Right.
I'm going to go back and I'm going to vet them out. I want to see what they've done and have they really done what they said they've done.
Right.
Because before I make that commitment.
Mm-hmm.
So here you are. You're. And who was the first person that you met in the business? Because I see James is here, and I also know that you also work with Mitch. So who did you work with first? Um,
Mitch was the very first one that I worked with.
what was your first impression of, and who was your first impression of working with, of talking to him? What kind of vibe did you get?
Well, I honestly was like, I love this person as a person. I mean, he was cool. He was fun. He was really into whatever he believed in. He was going to go for it. He was really driven, and I was like, I like this guy. He's cool. He's fun. He's fun to be around. He's a really really good person, and he cares about what he's doing and the people that are doing it. And
There you
I
go.
felt like he made me feel like he's gonna push himself to go somewhere, and those that are willing to be behind him and beside him, he's gonna bring with him no matter what.
Yeah, that's a I always appreciate those type of people, that run their companies that way.
Yes.
The reality is they won't be able to take everybody, but
Right.
then again, it's like I might not be able to take, out of a 40-man crew, I might not be able to take all 40 of you, but I'll be damned if I don't at least give you a head, at least a lift, like I'm going to give
Right.
you a push. I'm not going to
Right.
just sit there and leave you behind, standing there looking back at us at the tail lights.
Right.
I'm going to give you some, whatever I can give you to help you
Right.
make the next step. Go to
Right.
a
I
class.
might not be able to bring you, but I'm gonna give you that push, that head start.
Mhm. If that means telling you to me, it's like, and I'm sure you've already discovered this already. Um, I'm sure you've already worked as crew on your two movies. Like you just get there and sit in the chair and sit there and say, "Okay, I'm waiting for my next part." I'm thinking, were you surprised to see how many things that you had to do on your first set? Like, like help somebody out here, maybe help get lunch going. Maybe carry some lighting or equipment around. Were you surprised to see how many people were doing all that? Like,
I've been lucky enough. I've actually had it pretty easy, and I'm happy for it. I've been lucky because I see everything that's going on. Like I've watched documentaries when I was a child. Like I grew up watching. We didn't have cable. I had PBS and LPB and stuff like that. We had stuff, so I got to watch like a lot of documentaries and like behind the scenes type stuff. And I watched growing up all the things that these people have to run around and do, like chickens with their heads cut off. And then to see it in person with everybody running around trying to make sure everybody's taken care of. And I'm like, is there something I can do? Can I do something? Do you need me to do anything? Can I do anything? I feel helpless because there's not a whole lot I can do because everybody's taking care of everything. Everybody takes care of each other. And it was so hectic but so organized all at the same time. I was like, I hate and love this at the same time, all of it. It made me more excited because I have no problem being a gopher. I have no problem. Hey, go do this. Hey, go get this. Hey, go do this. Hey, go do. I have no problem on it. I'm just happy and proud to be a part of it.
yeah, that's the
Like
best.
it
And
has
that's the
me.
and that
It
is
has me so excited.
that's the perfect attitude to have too. I'm just glad. Not only am I glad to be here, but I'm glad to be here to help.
Mhm. Exactly. I'm
Mm.
happy just to be a part of it.
Um,
Even if I never got screen time, I love Mitch to death. I do, and I'm so happy he gives me the opportunities he does. But even if I didn't have opportunities for screen time, I have the opportunity to be a part of something, whether I become great or not, to have someone else be a part of that person becoming great. Because somebody, if even if it's not everybody, but somebody is gonna be great. And I'm just happy to be a part of somebody becoming great. Hopefully I become great too. But if not, that's fine.
Now, your first movie that you did, the first thing that you did was Unknown Strangers in 2022, and
Mhm.
that has a cannibalistic serial killer adapts to life in the zombie apocalypse. So,
Yes.
talk to us about that. Talk to us about that role. That was your first film. Did you get any lines from it? Did you have to rehearse? What was really different about that set?
Okay, so
Um,
that one I didn't have lines, it was a silent scene. Um I got there and they kind of just talked me through like how it was going to go. I played an adult entertainer that was hired for a private party.
okay.
Um and of course during that private party I was murdered.
Uh,
Um
well, that's the hey. Did you at least get the scream?
it was a silent part. So
Oh, what?
the very beginning was a lot of shots of like what happened to different people. And
Okay.
so, like, there was a story being told in the background as these shots were being played. So, like,
Okay.
all the shots of people getting murdered and stuff like that were silent parts, which was fine by me. I didn't really have to say anything for what I had to do. So, like I said,
How did your character die?
she got, well, what you saw was her being choked to death.
Oh,
And
okay.
Mitch told me, he was like, "You were the only one that fought back."
So that they okay. So how okay? Well, you know what though? Let's talk a little bit about that scene, because think about it. It's one of my favorite things to talk about too. You know, especially when you're new and young. You know, and you know that, you know, and the first thing to ask you is like, we want you to die on camera. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I really nothing. You know, it's like, okay. Um, so like, how do I do that? You know, like, you know, because you got some people who overkill it. You know, they're over dramatic. There's some people who are so stiff
Yeah.
because you know they're being told, we're going to kill you now. And I think it's a natural response, especially with someone with no training.
Yes.
They're gonna stiffen up because you know, like because it's scary. You know, like I'm gonna, you know, we're gonna go ahead and have someone strangle you. Did they walk the scene over with you, tell you this is what's gonna happen, and you know they give you a word or a movement? You know, like if something goes a little bit rough, you know, you just go ahead and like tap somebody on the arm and like, okay,
Okay, so how it went was, he was like, "Okay, well, you're gonna walk in and you're gonna do this, and he's gonna snatch you up and he's gonna choke you, and that's how you're gonna die." I was like, "Okay," and so we went we went through the scene, and it gets to the part to where he gets me up, and it gets me against the wall, and he starts choking me. And this scene is, I'm supposed to think that, oh, this is a good time, you're choking
right?
me,
Oh,
oh, and
uh,
then it turns into realization of, oh, he's really choking me, he's gonna kill me.
right.
And so it gets to that part, he gets me against the wall, he puts his hand around me, and I make that face like, and then I make the realization of he's killing me, and I start to fight. And I actually make it to where he actually has to fight me a little bit, not real hard, but enough that it looks real, what I felt like would make it look real. And then we kind of go down, I kind of drop to the floor a little bit, and I kind of bring my arm up a little bit. And I hate to say it this way, but the reason I was decent at this scene is because I've been through it. I was a natural at the scene because it's happened. Now, I
Right.
wasn't murdered, obviously, but I've been in situations where I passed out from being choked, and that's how it went, you know. And we shot the scene, what, maybe 2-3 times, just to get, you know, what they wanted. And they were like, we didn't have to, but we did. And of course, they cut it out within a certain amount of time, so you necessarily don't see like me dropping out of it and like out of it. But it just kind of came natural. It's just something natural for me. But he did. He was like, "You're the only one that fought me back out of everybody that I murdered. You're it."
Yeah, 'cause I think a lot of people, a lot of you know, young actors and what have you. I mean, I think it's a natural reaction. You know, you're gonna stiffen up. You're not gonna be, you know, you're gonna stiffen up. You're gonna be, you know, nervous, and you're gonna be, you know, and you know, really twitchy because because you haven't done anything like that before. So I get
Yeah,
it. That's why they call it
I enjoyed
rehearsal
it.
too. So now you get the first scene. You got killed you got killed your first movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great step for becoming a screen queen, by the way. You know, it's a die on camera. It's like, you know, people when they ask you for your audition tape, you know, okay, I see you're here to you know, to Camp Slasher 6. Okay, we're gonna kill your character. Do you have your kill reel with you?
Yeah,
This is all the movies I died in, and it's like there's like 40
right.
movies, right? I'm sure Jessa has been killed dozens of times.
I'm
I know
sure.
more. I know Morgan has. Um, but so there you go. You got your first screen credit.
Mhm.
Didn't have any lines per se, but you did get on screen. You did make it.
Yeah.
So what and then you did Sea of Madness. Now
Yeah.
had now I know that Mitch did the Bogman.
Mhm.
Did he invite you to do that film too as well? Did you?
No, sadly, I didn't get that invite. Um, I know there's a reason. I mean, there's so many people involved in that. I'm more than sure there wasn't enough room for me to be on that screen anywhere. I hate that I missed it. I really do, because I'd have loved to been, like I said, even if I'd have just been there helping out. I don't care. I want to do it.
Right,
But I mean, Mitch also knows my schedule. I mean, most of the scheduling is weekend stuff because everybody works, everybody has a job, everybody has this to take care and that to take care. We all have our personal lives. So most of the stuff is done on the weekends. Mitch knows my weekends that's when I work. So when I do stuff, I have to take off from work, which
right.
my job has no problem with it, obviously. Um, but Mitch
Yeah,
is very
but
considerate of that. So he if it requires me to take off a lot, he's not going to ask me to do it. But if it requires me one weekend, 2 weekends, here or there, he's like, "Hey, you want to come do this?" And he always offers. Now, I didn't get offered on the Bogman, but since the Sea of Madness, he's like, "Hey, I didn't realize that, if you would want to be, just there without having a part. If you want to come to one of the shoots or anything like that, you're more than welcome to be there. We'll let you know whenever, they are and stuff like that. And if we need you to do something, we'll get you to do it or whatever." I was like, "Yeah, just let me know. I
right,
want to be a part of this. I mean, I'm excited just to be there."
right,
So,
right. Isn't that the
he
best?
was, I think it was more of
That's
him
the
being
best.
considerate.
I remember having the same. I remember having the same reaction when I first started in nightclubs. The first time, the first few times I got asked to help break down the set, break
Yeah.
down the stage. Man, it took only like 10, 15 minutes, but it was a lot of fun. I just wanted to be there,
Yeah. Right.
So I
Being a
get
part
that.
of something.
So now we got the now we move up to Sea of Madness,
Hmm.
and I guess my first question to you was, did you actually get to meet Jessa while you were working? Because you play mermaid number two, and she's like the main mermaid. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking you got to meet her.
Uh, I met so many people. Oh my Lord. No, I don't think I met Jessa. I
Okay.
met most of the people that I met were the girls that were um like the main characters of like the boat scenes of them being in like the raft and all that other stuff. I met those ladies, and oh, I loved them to death. They were wonderful. Now I did hear a lot about Jessa. I don't remember if I met her or not. I'm ADHD myself, so like things go over my head, and I'm bad with names. I'm horrible with names. Like I remember Jessa
Oh my gosh!
because
Yeah,
we.
you know what though? Honestly, here's the true secret. Here's the true secret, and I got that from a lot of dancers.
Mhm.
They don't know your name. They don't know your name.
Regular basis.
It's always weird when you hear some guy said some citizen going like, yeah, oh yeah, she knows me, she knows me, she knows me, and it's like, so like, hi, hi Red, how are you? And it's like, hi,
Yeah.
and you're sitting there going like, hi, who is this again? Because you see hundreds of people every weekend, every week.
Look, I'm like, "Hey,
It's
hon, how you been? Hey, darling, how are you?"
Yeah, people expect. I always love the ones. My favorite ones, and I'm spilling something here. My favorite thing is when I hear people who go to conventions. Right, they go to conventions. They go
Mhm.
there for 1 year. Right, they go to 1 year,
Yeah.
and they meet a celebrity. They meet a
Mhm.
celebrity
And
a year
expect them
later.
to remember them.
Yes, yes.
Customers are
A year
like
later
that.
they'll go. Yeah, a year later they'll go back to the same convention, and they walk up to the star like, "Hey, we're old pals." You're just like, dude, they don't know who the hell you are. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Like if for
There's only one person that could do that, and he passed away years ago, and that would be Ronnie James Dio. But
yeah.
otherwise, I've never seen anybody walk. But yeah, Um,
You have to definitely do something that's memorable. If you're doing something
right.
very rarely and you meet somebody and you expect them to remember you the next year, you have to do something extremely memorable. Like you have to
Right.
be that one that's like, this is an forgettable event. I'm gonna always remember this person. And
That's right.
most people are not that
Plus,
person. Most people are not
plus,
that guy.
plus their name is on the plus their name is on the court order list. You know. uh,
Right. Lord have mercy. Yeah, there's a lot of customers that I get like, "Hey, Red, how you been?" And I've seen them once every 2 years. I'm like, "Hey,
yeah.
darling, how
Yes.
are you?" Now
So
I do
now,
remember a lot of customers that come in all the time. Like I remember all them, but they're there all the time. But yeah, those people that come in once a year, twice, once every 2 years, I'm like, yeah, you have to make it memorable for me to know who you are. I'm sorry. Like, it's not anything against you. And I love you to death because you love me. But I don't remember you. I've seen you once.
now we got your second movie underneath your belt. Now you're going on the set for the first one. You got to play a mermaid.
Yes,
So how did you prepare your character? What did you do to become a mermaid?
I didn't. I made her become me.
So,
Um,
so okay.
so the way I view acting, like I said, we didn't have access to schools and classes and all that other stuff. Even Monroe, we don't have access to like full blown schools and all that. So the way me personally, the way I see acting, I don't see myself becoming a character. I see myself making characters me. Um, I see a character, I read the script and I see the character as they are to me, and I pick something out that, oh, I see myself in that, or I see myself doing that, or I see myself being that, and I run with that off of that character, and it kind of just all just kind of falls in place. Like I read that script, I was told back in let's see, I want to say it was 2012. I got my first opportunity in 2012 to be a part of anything. There was, I don't even remember all the names and all this other stuff, but there was something going on at ULM, and there was an instructor at ULM that I guess they did like drama or theater or something there. I don't know.
Okay.
That's the college over here in Monroe, and
Go
I
Warhawks.
got do what now?
Go Warhawks.
Yes, and I don't even remember how I got involved with this, but I got invited to go and play a part, which I played a part. The movie never got finished that I know of, or released. I never got any of the footage back from it.
Yeah.
I have a few pictures that I can find. Maybe I don't know if I can still find them or not, but a couple of years ago I could still find them from that movie. I got invited to come play a part as my character was a porn star that was auditioning for a part that the character thought was a porno, but it wasn't. So she was confused about it being a porno. She thought it was a porno. She thought she was auditioning for a porno, but it wasn't a porno, and she couldn't get that through her head. So, um, that was my very first opportunity to get in this business. But that that director, that person told me, he said, and because I asked him, I was like, how is my character portrayed? How do you want this character to act? What do you want this character to be? And that instructor told me, he said flat out, he said, don't ever read a script how you're told to read it monotone. However that script pops out to you, because you're told what the movie's supposed to be. You're told it's a comedy. You're told it's a horror. You're told it's a romance. You're told it's this. So based on how that character reads to you, that's how you should act it. Unless you're told otherwise, of course. but
Sure.
that's how you should act it. So when I was given opportunity to do the mermaid, I asked Mitch, I was like, how do you want this? Because I'm reading it like this. Before I asked anything, he sent me the script. And I'm like, I'm reading it like this. Is that what you're looking for? Or do I need to tweak it? Do I need to fix it? Do I need to change it? Because I can do what I need to with it, but this is what I'm getting from it. He was like, no, that's what I'm envisioning. That's how I'm seeing it. And I was like, oh, okay. So like me trying to read it monotone, it doesn't come out in my head monotone. It comes out as how I'm viewing the character already. I cannot read a script monotone. If I read something, I cannot say Charlie crossed the street
Oh
and
no,
fell.
of course not. No, you wanna put a character into you wanna you're right. You don't want to just do that. You just wanna
Right.
okay.
So however it naturally falls for me is how I just that's how I fall into it.
Uh uh so it comes and so I guess when Mitch came and did Sea of Madness after the ball game, and from what I've seen of it, I make it a habit of not to review any films until
Mm-hmm.
after I do interviews. So
Yes.
but it does come across more as a horror comedy.
Yes, it is definitely
I
comedic
mean,
horror.
yeah, there's definitely there. I mean, Mitch is a hoot. He's a hoot.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
Now, after this, now he's planning on doing a new production,
Mm-hmm.
the Ball Anthology. So this is going to be
Mm-hmm.
something brand new.
Yes.
And are you going to be are you bringing your character back for this one, or will this be a totally different story? Do you have to audition now for some of these roles now that you're an actress, a working actress? Do you find
Well,
yourself and have you auditioned to anywhere else?
I haven't had opportunities to audition to anywhere else. With my schedule and everything else, and the lack of availability close to me, we have to travel to get anything. As far as auditioning for anything else, as far as like working for Mitch, I don't necessarily have to audition for any particular role, and most of us don't because he knows, because we're so small right now, since we're so tight knit, we all know each other. We know how each other are. He knows me and he knows what's gonna fit me. So he's gonna have me. I won't be in the next one. I'm gonna be on set for the shooting that we're gonna do.
Right, you'll be
But
cool.
I'm not gonna be a character for this next one. And
Just remember though, Red. I mean, like I said, just because you're on set and you're working, if you get there
I'm a
early
part
on
of it.
time, yeah,
Yeah.
make sure you get the credit for that.
Right.
Uh,
Oh, I'm excited to just be a part of it. Like I said,
mm,
he's all about whatever you did and whatever you do, you're gonna be known that it's gonna be known that you did it.
oh yeah, that's
But I
exciting. It's
won't be.
exciting.
I'm excited about all of it. And then Mitch makes it exciting. Mitch makes it exciting. He hypes us up. Oh my Lord. That man's like, yes, let's get it. And I'm like, yay, let's go. And
Yeah, Mitch is a lot of fun.
he
I mean,
is.
he has one of my most memorable. He has one of the most memorable interviews I've done. Um,
Yes.
yeah, if you want to hear, I told the story yesterday on yesterday's show. If you want to go back and listen to like the last 20 minutes of it,
Mm-hmm.
you'll hear the story about me and Mitch. I like him a lot. I think he's a great guy.
He is.
Uh,
He really is. He's
so
definitely a people's person too.
now, are you going to go ahead and like I said, are you going to go ahead and well, I do believe that a lot of actors can get the jump off early in their careers, just by on their wits and their skills. Eventually, though, you're going to have to go to class. You just have to. I mean, it's just
Mm-hmm.
all there is to it. You just thought either you have to go to class or you're going to have to go to a live theater or you're going to have to do something to improve your skills.
Right.
Otherwise, you become just the same person in every movie. If you can't differentiate the characters, it just is. A lot of times you'll
Right.
sit there and see, you'll see the same person doing the same roles over and over, and it's great. You see them, but they're doing the same thing. It's like watching Ryan Reynolds. I can't
Right.
stand watching. I can't stand watching Ryan Reynolds. He's the same
Yeah.
shit every movie.
Every movie.
Yeah,
Right.
every movie. Except for Green Lantern. He
Yeah.
really was. He really was. Because some director actually said, "You're going to work. You're not
Yeah.
going to just get by with doing the bullshit you've been doing. You're going to
Right.
work." But I do believe that for an actor to become successful, to make that first step, the
Mm-hmm.
next step, you do have to go and either do live theater or classes.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just one class, even if
Right.
it's just one, you're still
Right.
taking. And I read about and I mentioned this too before because I always thought it was fascinating. But there's a very well known actor named Harry Hamlin.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's like 73 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to acting class once a week,
Yeah.
and that guy is, he's been on movies and TV forever. But he
Right.
says, I still go and learn. And I do believe that will happen.
Yeah.
What have you explored that? Like, is there anything around you where you live at? Are there anyone that's doing acting classes or doing live theater, or is there
There
anything like that you know of?
there's there's theater. There is theater. Monroe has Strauss Theater, and they do different plays and things like that. And I know the people that are there doing it currently have a blast. I know they do. I've heard stories. There's some that are in Open Heart Productions group that do those. Um, as far as all that goes, I mean, do I want to do all that? Yes, I do. I can be more than just a seductive something. I can
Right.
be anything I'm needed to be. However, that being said, I have always felt like no matter what it is I'm doing, there's always something else I can learn. So whether it's my dancing, there's always something I can learn from somebody, whether it's a new person or an older person in the industry. I can learn something from them, whether it's a pole trick or a floor move or it's a way of speaking or approaching different people. There's always something to learn. So in the acting thing, I feel like there's always something to learn. Interacting with different actors and actresses and learning from their stories and their abilities and their tips and tricks because they're actively in it. Um, do I plan on pursuing other things to further me in it as well? I do. I really do. However, I have to be in a position where I'm able. At the moment, time wise, I am I am always on it. I am always trying to right now I'm trying to stay on my feet. Uh Things are kind of slow at work. It's that time of year. Hopefully things pick up and like tomorrow at our club is my birthday party because tomorrow is my birthday.
Oh, happy
And
birthday.
I'll be 37 and I'm hoping without a better way to put it right now, I hope everybody in their mammies show up. But that being said, there may only be 4 or 5 people show up right now because this is the time of year. It's just after all the holidays. Everybody is already spent on all their money on travel, family, gifts, stuff like that. Then it's Valentine's Day. So like our money's really, really slow right now. It won't pick up again until taxes start to hit. And so like I don't have the opportunity at the moment to take out the time or the money to go to class. Find somewhere that someone's doing classes, even if I have to travel to do it, or have the time to be able to devote myself to some type of theater or anything. Because if I'm gonna do that, I want to be able to devote myself because that's completely different than acting on a movie set. Because theater, when you're doing what you're doing, you're in front of a crowd and you're right there. You're right now. You can't skip a line and say, oh, wait, what's my line? And then redo the scene all over again just because you lost a line. No, that a theater, you have to continuously go. You can't stop. You have to keep
No,
going. So if something gets skipped over, it just gets skipped over and you're the one that messed it up. Even if the audience didn't know, you knew.
right, Right. Yeah. Yeah. Live theater is a definitely an adventure. Definitely an adventure here where you have to, you don't have the chance to. That's me. You go to rehearsals all the time, and but there are some people that during doing a live show, they will go ahead and they'll stub their toe or whatnot. It does happen.
Yes.
I think I'm not sure how big Monroe is, but I'm thinking that maybe there's a community theater in Monroe. Is this a small theater? Maybe like with maybe 100, 100 person troupe, between the actors and the people running it.
Yeah.
Like we have that around our town. We have like 2 or 3 little tiny theaters, not
Hmm.
very big. Like people go
Right.
there and they help out the theater or whatnot. It's just moving forward.
Right.
You mentioned earlier about singing. Is that something that you've also have you decided to maybe move forward with that as well? Have you ever sang in public before?
I haven't. I've never even had the opportunity to sing in public. Uh I probably need to sit down and learn a few songs like fully, like every word for word, because I don't do that either. I sing at home all day with my kid, and I sing at work with friends and stuff like that. But I've never had the opportunity to sing in public, which is probably why I don't know every song for word to word that I should know.
All
Um,
right. What song gets played for you most when people when that's something I'll ask you. What's the number one song people play when or you play for your crowd when you dance? What's your 4 or 5 go-to songs that get you some cash?
Uh, the one that makes me the most money, if we have a crowd, if we have a good crowd. So like there's two main types of crowds in that environment. You've got the drinking crowd. That
Mm,
crowd, the bar makes money off of them, but we don't. Then you've got the crowd that's for the girls mostly. Now they do drink too, but that's the crowd that's going to spend money with the girls. So
mhm.
when we have a crowd that is for the girls, that's there for the entertainment, my number one song is Down with the Sickness.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I get up on the pole and I headbang upside down and I'm all over the place. And oh, it's so it's fun. I enjoy that. I swear I do. Another one that is a decent one that makes me decent money when the crowd is right is Say 10 by Marilyn Manson.
Okay.
Um let's see. I have a very small crowd. Very, very small crowd that comes in and requests me to do Zombie by the Cranberries.
Oh, how cute is that?
Regularly. Oh, I love my little crowd. I love them to death. Oh, I love them to death. They're sweethearts. And then they're like, yes, do that. So I'll do that one. And then I'll do a remake of it as well. So I'll do like the remake first and do the original after that. That way it falls, to what they want. And they get, you say the best for last type stuff. Since it's what they requested, that's their best. So I'm like, yeah, I'll save that. Um, and I have fun with that song. I'm not gonna lie, I do. I love that song. I grew up listening to it, and I'm like, yes. It kind of
Right.
brings back childhood memories of me sitting there singing it. Back of the truck. I had one of those fathers and one of those mothers that they played the music as loud as they could, and a good song came on, and you got the head banging and this here with the fist or the hand on the steering wheel or on their leg and the foot hitting the floor. Like I had parents that got into the music. So like it would bring back stuff like that for me too. Another one that brings back those memories is Bohemian Rhapsody, Queen.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I love me some man. You play me some Bohemian Rhapsody and stuffs like that. I
Mm.
have me a good old time.
That's
Um,
yeah.
let's see.
I'm trying to think of the one the Crow song was like a hard to handle, too hard to handle. It's like I know I know what it is. I know the name of the band, but I know that they were extremely popular for all the girls. All the girls would sit there and say, "Oh yeah, that's my jam right there." They all had that one particular song that they jammed out to. That was their money maker.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have actually hit our time. I wasn't sure if we would be able to do that today, but I'm so happy that we were. I am thankful to you, Patricia, for coming in and saving our ass. Uh, uh, what now? There's something else you can mark off. Now you can mark off that you've done press. That you,
Yay! And
yeah,
you're my first. Well, I say that I've had one interview before this with one of the girls that works with us, and she did my first interview, and of course I was chewing on gum and couldn't stop. I was smacking away. I looked crazy, but yes, I'm happy that I could come on here and be a part of this, and you be I consider you one of my first, because I do still consider her my first, because she's still getting
sure.
into it and learning it.
Oh yeah, no. I think this is important. I tell everybody this is a great chance to talk about the movie. Great
Yeah.
chance to talk about your career. That's what it's all about.
Yes.
Like I said, it's but you're so new. The challenge is to just to talk and just keep going. And it was
Right.
so easy to talk. So easy to talk to you. Who were we supposed to be talking to today anyway? Oh, screw that. We'll bring back Red. I already
Right.
forgot. I already forgot the guy who I was supposed to be talking with anyway. um, and everybody is saying that you killed your first interview.
Well,
I
thank
know.
you. Thank you
Yeah.
guys so much.
Uh,
I'm
uh,
happy to be here. I'm
well,
happy to have the opportunity to be here.
I'm happy you were here too, and I'm really happy that the chat came out and supported you. That's really cool considering this is last minute.
Right.
Our guest today, in case for those who came in late, our guest today was Mitch. The director and the co-screenwriter of Sea of Madness. He has come down with a really bad case of flu, so he let me know this. He let me know this early this evening. He says, I'm done. But I'm gonna send you some bullpen help, and of course we got Red. Um, and of course we were sitting there saying, where we were talking about doing the show. I had, he says, I said, you can bring cast and crew for this one if you want to. And he says, yeah, I'll bring a mermaid. I said, yeah, bring a mermaid,
Right.
bring the mermaid. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming out tonight and hanging out with us, me and Red. We'll definitely have you come back, Red, for sure. And I want to thank you for doing this with us. I had a lot of fun. You answered every question, and I enjoyed talking to you. I learned a lot from you, and I'm looking forward to seeing Sea of Madness. I can look at the second mermaid and go like, I know who that mermaid is.
Oh,
Uh,
you'll recognize it's me. This hair is in the movie.
That's right. All right. Tomorrow, this is the end of our shows this week, but I will be on the road this Sunday. 8 o'clock. I'll put a link down in my community post. I will be on the road as the Midnight Society is returning. It's returning this Sunday at 8 o'clock. It's the Nat and the Cat. We're back together. We're going to be doing the Clash of the Titans. The Clash of the Titans is where we each have a movie that we both really, really love, and we're going to talk to you guys about them and see why we love our movie just a little bit more than the person next to you. And we'll be talking about The Last of the Mohicans with Daniel Day-Lewis. That's who JT will be talking about, and me, I'll be kicking some ass talking about The 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas. And that will be at 8 o'clock that'll be on 8 o'clock. And you can find that link. I'll put it in my community tab post, and you guys can go over there and hang out with us on next Sunday. Next Tuesday, on the holy cow. On the 18th, we'll be here at 8 o'clock. We'll be talking with actress and director Sally McLean. She is from Australia. We'll be talking to her on the 18th. On the 19th, we'll be talking with Frank Marino Boyd. He is a actor based in the Midwest. And then on the 20th, we won't have a show Thursday night, but we will have one Thursday afternoon, as we'll be going back across the pond to England to talk to our good friend Mike Zahara from Did You See That? And we'll be doing that. We'll be talking with Mike on the 20th. Thank you guys so much. And we will talk to you guys soon. Be safe and stay warm. Peace. Oh, I'm not sure if the midnight hour is on tonight, but Hobbs Horror. If you guys are looking for something to do, type in Hobbs Horror. Go over there, throw them a like, and the midnight hour should be on at 10:15.
My internet cut
All right,
out. I don't know what happened. I'm sitting in the car.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. We will talk to you guys soon. We'll see you Sunday night, hopefully.
Can I
Take
say
care.
one thing before we go?
Sure.
Y'all come check us out. I'm happy y'all came out. I'm happy y'all came to see us. I thank you so much for supporting me and him. He's here all the time. I'm not. I'm just happy to be here for the opportunity. Y'all come check us out on YouTube. The Sea of Madness is out there. It will be on Fossum TV, Tubi, Fandango, CW, and Amazon Prime soon. So I'm so happy for you all support, and I thank y'all so much, and I thank you for having me.
Stay right where you're at for 1 minute, Red. I'm going to say goodnight to I'm going to say goodnight to everybody here, and like I said, hopefully we'll see you Sunday night. If not, we'll see you next Tuesday. Peace.